I will also need cinnamon. I'm going to put my tiny little pot on my oversized burner. Hello, howdy, and welcome back to my kitchen. I'm Kathryn, and I'm the Aerogarden Homesteader. Today I am going to be doing an experiment I have always wanted to do ever since we got our freeze dryer, and that is to use freeze-dried fruit to see if I could make, like, a pie filling of some sort. Like, can I use the fruit for something other than just snacking on? Now, in most cases, you can use things, rehydrate them and do stuff with it, but how well does it actually work? So today, I wanted to see how well it would work. So I'm going to make a little bit of a sauce, and then I'm going to rehydrate my apples in the sauce and make a little pie. We're already a mess in progress, but I was rolling out my pie crust so I wouldn't have to do that. You should definitely go check out that pie crust video if you're looking for a nice pie crust. That's pretty easy to work with. So I'm going to make, this only holds 1 cup of filling, so I'm going to make approximately 1 cup of filling. Well, we're going to see how close we can get to 1 cup. So I'm going to need 3 tablespoons of sugar. 1, 2, and 3. There we go. And I need almost a full tablespoon of clear gel. You could probably use cornstarch or other thickeners in place of this. I just happen to have this, and I think it makes for a nice smooth filling, but use what you have. And I happen to have this. I will also need cinnamon. Calls for about a 1/4 teaspoon, but my cinnamon's really old, so I'm going to put in, that's probably a little too much. I'll probably put in about 1/2 teaspoon. Probably 3/4 actually. And I'm going to put in just the tiniest little splash of molasses, just so that I've got that brown sugar flavor. And by tiniest splash, I mean I'm really talking tiny splash. Okay, I'm going to have to clean up because now I'm a mess. Okay, I am going to need some water. Okay, I just have some tap water here. I will need, start with 3 tablespoons. That will get us our sauce. Actually, I think I need 4. And then I will probably have to add a little bit more water to this after the fact when I add the apples. I was supposed to stir that before adding the water. Oh well. If you stir your sugar and corn starch together, or clear gel, it helps prevent some lumps. So, I don't know if you can see, but I did get a few lumps. It's fine. It will work itself out in the cooking process. Now, I'm going to put my tiny little pot on my oversized burner, because it's here. And I'm going to thicken the sauce up, and then I will add the apples. Now normally for us, and this is an us thing, we have been, we're still pretty new to our freeze dryer. We've been freeze drying fruit, but just eating it like chips, candy, like something to snack on. And it's nice, but like, what else can we do with it? That's what we're trying to figure out. So this is a what else can we do with it moment. You'll be able to see. I might need to tip the camera down a little bit. There we go. Now you can watch it thicken. I'll just speed through this. You don't have to sit here and watch me stir this. In fact, I'm probably not going to sit and watch me stir this. I'm going to go get a little bit of tea while I'm waiting for this to come up to a boil. This does not need to be stirred constantly, but as it starts getting close, you are going to want to stir it more frequently because it will need to be combined to get the proper thickness. To thicken cleanly all the way through, without lumps. Just because I forgot to do it, I'm going to add in a pinch of salt. Always add in a little salt with your sweet stuff. Helps balance things out and brings out the sweetness. Okay, it's starting to thicken. I don't know if you can see those brown clumps forming, but that's the thickening from the clear gel. Okay. Now it should only thicken to a point. That's the whole point of clear gel, so that it doesn't keep thickening in the jars while canning, but I do want to take it off the heat at some point because I don't want to scorch it. This is a very small amount. So there we go. I'll bring you back over here, get out a little trivet. Okay, so at this point I need to add a bit of lemon juice. Now, I just converted a canning recipe, so I don't know if the lemon juice is actually required for flavor, but generally you add a little bit of lemon juice just for keeping the apples from going brown. Which, I don't know if that's a problem when you freeze dry, because when we freeze dried our apples, we used a little bit of fruit fresh to keep it from going brown. But I could see, once it's been reconstituted, that browning action could continue. Okay, so I have some apples. Should probably get a measuring cup. I want 1 cup. Suppose, and so I think this is a combination of. This one doesn't say. The other one are Granny Smith. These ones are probably a combination of apples that we just had bits left over. So this one probably did not get as much fruit fresh as the other one. But it is a combination of different apples. So it's probably Gala and Cosmic Crisp, because that's what we had at that time. So, my sauce is already thick. I do not want my sauce getting thicker. So I will need to add in, I'll start with 2 tablespoons. Actually, I might put in a little bit more. I need to add in the water that the apples are going to suck up. Well, I can feel that the apples are already softening, but it will take a little bit of time for the apples to completely soften up. So what I will do is I'm going to allow this a little bit of a chance to cool down, and then once it's cooled off a little bit, I'm going to put it in the pie crust. And it looks like that's a decent amount. That should fit. And then I will just let it sit in the fridge for a few hours. Then I will cook it. So it'll probably be about, 425 for at least half an hour, probably 45 minutes. It'll be cooking with something else, so. Yeah, that feels pretty good. That feels nice and soft. There's a bit of a firmness to them, so they're not mush. But it doesn't feel like there's crunch left. Okay. I'll bring you back. I'll show you how I fill it's not that hard to fill a pie, but to crimp the edges. So, bringing you back so I can show you the filling of the pie and the crimping of the edges. I've been stirring this a little bit just to help cool it off and to make sure everything gets hydrated well. Seems like it's cool enough. I don't want to melt my pastry. So, I'm going to just pop this in. You could certainly do this as hand pies or a bigger pie, obviously. Scale this up. I will be putting a top crust on this, but I bet you a strudel crust would taste really nice as well. You do not have very much luck with hand pies. I don't know if I'm just overfilling them or if I'm rolling out my crust too thick, but I'm just going to stick with what I know, and that's pies. So, put my top crust on, center that as best I can. Now, this is a really small pie plate, so it's kind of a little hard to dock the edges a little, but I'll do the best I can. So generally I like to just sort of pinch everything so it meets together, and then sometimes I'll use my finger this way, sometimes I'll use my knuckle, kind of just depends on how I'm feeling. Because sometimes I jam my finger in too far, the knuckle, it can cause a little problem. But if your fingernail is too long, it will pinch into the dough too. So just have to be mindful. Work our way around gently. Okay, and then I like to, this is just me, I flatten the crimp a little bit because, well, it makes it look a little nicer, but it also doesn't stick up quite so much, so it's got less surface area for browning in the oven. And then I'll cover that with foil so it won't over brown. I will also cut slits before I put it in the oven, but I don't cut my slits until after I'm ready to put it in the oven because it's going to sit in the fridge and I don't want it drying out. And I will cover this, so I will bring you back and I'll show you how it turned out. Here is the finished pie. I had a bit of a spectacular air bubble going on, but otherwise it looks really good. Look at all those nice flaky layers. This turned out really well. The fruit was nice and soft and the flavor was great. I have also made this same filling using cherries, blueberries, and peaches, and they all worked really well from the freeze-dried fruit. Those are the only freeze-dried fruits I've tried, but I'm sure there's lots of other things that can be done as well. I have this pastry recipe linked above, so you can go and watch that video to see how I made this. If you found this video useful, it would be really nice if you'd like and share so other people can also find this video. And I will see you next time on the Aerogarden Homestead.